Chapter 1. The Secret Origin of a Genius Painter. Hello, viewers. Today, we are going to look at the surprising true face of the world-famous painter Gustav Klimt. Although the artist is best known for his works, The Kiss and Danae, his life hides an amazing secret. Klimt was born into a poor family. His father was a gilder, and young Gustav was immersed in the world of arts and crafts from an early age. What many do not know, however, is that he started out as an architectural decorative painter. It was when he worked on the ceiling paintings of the Musikverein in Vienna that he boldly departed from traditional artistic styles and began to explore his own innovative expression. His artistic challenge was sharply criticized by the Viennese society of the time. He challenged the conservative art world by founding an artistic group known as the Secession. However, there was a deep personal conflict in the background. His unique perspective on sexuality and the female body, as well as his rebellion against social norms, underlay his work. Many of Klimt's paintings are not merely beautiful, but are profound explorations of the human condition, desire, and mortality. The philosophical message behind The Kiss and the complexity of human emotions in Danae are just two examples. His paintings evoke deep emotion and contemplation in the viewer. What is even more remarkable is Klimt's extraordinary interest in fields other than art. He had a keen interest in psychoanalysis, which was at the forefront of psychoanalysis at the time, especially the theories of Sigmund Freud, and he attempted to express the world of the human unconscious in his paintings. The first chapter unravels Klimt's surprising true face, his innovative approach to art, and his conflicts with the society of his time. His life is not just the story of a painter, but the epic story of an artist who fought against the times. Chapter 2. Painter of Love and Desire, Klimt's Women. Women have always been central to Klimt's work. However, his view of women went far beyond simple aesthetic expression. His life is an astonishing story of love and art in all its fullness. Surprisingly, Klimt was a lifelong bachelor. Despite this, he was always surrounded by women. He was never married, although he had a close relationship with his most famous muse and model, Amélie Floge, for more than 40 years. This was highly unusual for the social conventions of the time. Klimt's studio was like a secret sanctuary. Women were treated not merely as models, but as collaborative partners in the creative process. He portrayed the female body not as a mere sexual object, but as a sacred being that contained vitality and spirituality. The Viennese society of the time condemned his work as scandalous. His paintings, full of nudity and sexuality, were heavily criticized by conservative critics. However, Klimt made no compromises and remained true to his vision. Interestingly, Klimt's relationship with women was one of extraordinary respect and equality. His support of women artists and recognition of their talents, innovative for the time, is remarkable from a contemporary perspective. His portraits were not mere likenesses. Rather, they depict the inner life, emotions, and soul of their subjects. As seen in the portrait of Amélie Floge, his paintbrush captured the inner world of the woman in a masterful way. What is even more remarkable is that Klimt highly valued the artistic talents of women and actively supported their career development. In the male-dominated art world of the time, this was an extremely progressive attitude. Chapter 3. Politics and Art. The Truth About Klimt, the Revolutionary. Klimt was not just a painter. He was a true revolutionary who challenged and sought to change society through art. As the founder of the Vienna Secession, Klimt challenged conservative notions of art head-on. The art world at the time was bound by rigid existing styles, but he sought to break down all boundaries, from decorative art to pure artistic expression. His political stance was not simply left-wing. Rather, through his art, he sought to sharply expose the contradictions in society. His works brilliantly depict the contradictions of class society at the end of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. What is particularly noteworthy is that Klimt considered art and social change to be inseparable. His work Beethoven Frieze was truly a challenge to society and the embodiment of a political message through art. This symbolic depiction of human suffering, struggle, and ultimate liberation had a profound impact on society at the time. Klimt was not only an artist but also an intellectual. He played a central role in the intellectual circles of his time, participating in debates on a wide range of subjects, including politics, philosophy, and science. The salons of the Vienna Secession, in particular, were also places of intellectual exchange for innovative thinkers. His art was more than mere aesthetic expression, it was also a weapon of social criticism. His portraits, which delicately and mercilessly depicted the vanity and hypocrisy of the upper classes, exposed the contradictions that lurked in the depths of society. Klimt also had a strong interest in improving the social status of women. His works, which included some of the most progressive representations of women of their time, demonstrated a strong will for social change. Chapter 4. Art and Disease, Fighting Fate. Here is a fact that many people do not know. Klimt's life was also a story of intense struggle between art and illness. In 1918, at the end of World War I, the Spanish flu pandemic was ravaging Europe, and Klimt could not escape this global tragedy. It is no exaggeration to say that his artistic imagination was constantly fringed by the shadow of illness and death. Klimt's health suffered from a young age. His body was delicate and fragile, yet filled with remarkable creativity. Notably, his artwork was often filled with metaphors of illness and death. The theme of life and death was always at the root of his work. Interestingly, Klimt sublimated the suffering of illness with a unique aesthetic sensibility. There is a strange coexistence of illness and vitality in his portraits. For example, in his later works, he depicts a person whose body is affected by illness, but whose inner life force seems to shine through. Klimt's extraordinary interest in medicine and art was another characteristic aspect of his work. He had a strong interest in psychoanalysis and medical theory, which were the most advanced fields of art at the time, and his paintings beautifully express the complex relationship between the human body and the human psyche. Anatomical precision and poetic sensibility were always present in his work. Until shortly before his death from the Spanish flu in 1918 at the young age of 40, Klimt was working on what would become his last painting. Despite his illness, Klimt's passion for art never waned. It is said that his last works were filled with deep emotion, celebrating the beauty of life even as he faced death. His death sent shockwaves through the Viennese art world. Ironically, however, Klimt's fame and influence grew even greater after his death. On the borderline between illness and art, life and death, he continued to produce enduring works. His work transcends mere decorative art, but has a philosophical depth that reaches into the very essence of human nature. Disease, and vitality. All of these things shaped Klimt's artistic world. The life and art of Gustav Klimt is far more than just the story of a painter. He was a revolutionary who constantly questioned what art was and what freedom meant. A heretical genius who challenged conservative society and fundamentally shook existing values. His influence left an immeasurable mark on 20th century art. We hope that through today's video, we have been able to get a little closer to Klimt's unknown true face. We hope that today's video has given you a glimpse of Klimt's true nature, for the possibilities of art always extend beyond our imagination. How was it? If you liked this video, we sincerely look forward to your channel subscription and high rating. See you next time.